Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Break the Record Live featuring Dark Souls Remastered. We are now on to the final day of our 3-day marathon time trial event here. We are going to be playing, as I said, Dark Souls Remastered, and the category is all bosses. Over the last 2 days, and this final day as well, we have 7 runners who have qualified to compete to get the fastest time possible during the event. Of course, as it's titled Break the Record, we are trying to beat the world record for the All Bosses category in Dark Souls Remastered. And we are happy to say that yesterday, the big news of day 2 was that we did indeed break the world record. The previous record, standing at 1 hour, 2 minutes and 34 seconds, was beaten by its holder, Catalyst, to now hold a 1 hour, 2 minutes and 30 second time. So first off, congratulations to Catalyst for breaking the record and holding that #1 spot. However, it's not over yet. Not only are we looking to break the record, but we do have, as I said, 7 runners, and they are all vying for a share of the $5,000 prize pool that is courtesy of our sponsor, Kaspersky. Thank you very much to them for providing that. As it stands, Catalyst in first place is going to be taking home about $1,500, which is quite a lot. And that goes down and down as you go through the ranks down to 7th place, who will be taking home $300. My name is Bowie. I am your host, and I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts right here, Argic and Ash. Guys, how are you doing today? You all right?
Oh yes, looking forward to day 3 here. Day 3 always the most exciting, in my opinion. All these runners have 12 more hours to try and increase the amount of money that they're going to win here. Try and set those better PBs. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, we're going to get a time where we have all 7 running at once again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just dawned on me last night that how amazing this weekend has been for those that are big fans of Dark Souls and Dark Souls speedruns, because it's just back-to-back speedruns and just content over the week, which is really nice. You don't get to find many outlets for that, so really excited to see what happens today, and it's just been fantastic overall.
I definitely agree with that. Just that whole idea of having so many runners consistently going, like even when there is active runs going, there's different time zones. People are streaming at very particular times. They have their own schedules, so you won't always see them together at the same time competing. So it's great to have them all in one space, showing what they're made of, and getting involved, in the chat and communicating there as well. And kind of sharing what's going on with the audience watching. Not only is it going to be us 3, we also have a variety of community casters who will be joining us throughout the day. We'll be throwing them into the mix very, very shortly as we're about to start day 1. We're just having the runners set up and get ready because they're about 8 minutes away from the start of the final. If you haven't seen Break the Record live before, what it essentially is, as I said, a 3-day time trial marathon. Rather than doing just a race, a one-on-one race, and then whoever wins goes forward in the bracket to try and take home the prize pool, it's all about time trialing, the process of speedrunning as we do it when we are grinding for those world records. The resets, the pain, the stress, the annoyance, the tension, and everything in between. We've had runners resetting as much as they can. We've all managed to get a no reset run in to post a time onto the leaderboard, as well as doing things like a little bit of practice segments here and there, and maybe going back over some moments and strategizing how the runners are going to be going throughout the weekend. So yeah, that's kind of what Break the Record Live is all about. We're up to our 4th one, and again, as I mentioned, Catalyst did break that world record, meaning that we are 4 for 4, which is very exciting. That we've had so many successful events in terms of breaking that record, as well as having so much effort put in from all of the runners. And speaking of the effort being put in, I want to ask you guys again, a little bit about the runners that we've seen, because obviously Catalyst got the world record, and that's a huge achievement, and obviously that's why we're here. But we have 6 other runners who've been putting in great work.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like you've seen all our runners here come in and just completely smash their qualifying times, and that's what you want to see. And for me, personal highlight that I really hope comes true, we have the top 4, who I imagine are going to be vying for that top spot. Like all 4 of them have the ability to break the world record. Will we see it? Who knows? Hopefully. But for me, Mintius and Gentov, I really want to see them break that 1 hour 10-minute barrier and have all 7 runners in that 1 hour 10-minute range. Like just 10 minutes is all that separates these runners. I would love to see that for the final standings.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a hope for me today, but like to see some runners like jump over a few standings because they're completely capable. Like even if they're, in sixth and seventh and they might look like they're far off from the other runners, they have the strength, they have the capabilities and the execution to sort of pull off a fantastic run. So we can see someone like Gentov in seventh place with a 1:12:03 jump over maybe to fifth place with a really fantastic run. Like he's a very experienced runner, and that would be kind of cool as well. Like it can happen to literally any one of them. It just matter of getting that run in today.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, we've been looking at kind of like the best possible time for Gentov, and he's looking in like, a 105 kind of range with a huge, disparity between the time he's posted on the board and what his potential is. So as you were saying, you can see some major jumps. Speaking of jumps as well, we've had Iron Boy, we talked about him a lot this weekend, but that consistent progress, completing the most amount of runs of all the runners this weekend and going from, I believe, like a 11 down to a 107 now. So completely just mashing past all of these minute barriers, but he's yet to get a 1 king 4 king fight. I've noticed.
Oh, yeah,
So he's got like a nice like 25 plus seconds available to him there, which could like jump him even further because he's always ahead whenever he does a new run. So good stuff there. And let's also talk about this top 4 because it is the really kind of close knit moment. And whilst there is kind of about a 2-minute disparity between 4th and 1st, all those 4 runners can get 102s, which is like really scary.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, you're seeing Nax there as in a 104, but we've seen Nax many times throughout day 1 and day 2 getting into that late game, saving about 40 seconds. And like, that's not including having like a decent early and mid game. That's just Nax running through with the run and trying to see it through to completion. So take that 40 seconds off. He's in that 103 range as well. Like he would be in 3rd place if he managed to finish some of those runs there. So as you're saying, the top 4 definitely going to be able to get down to that 102 range. Catalyst obviously already done it. He's the one everybody's chasing for. But effectively, Old School, Dan, and Nax, they're all down in that 103 range. So they're going to be coming, like they're literally going to have a fire lit under them in true Dark Souls style and going to be chasing Catalyst. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's like Catalyst is not comfy there in 1st place. There is every possibility that someone can overtake him today. So he has to fight to maintain it or even just get a better world record for himself.
You're never safe when it comes to like runs that are this optimized with this many talented runners. And Catalyst made that clear himself yesterday when he was saying, you know what, I need to come back and push even harder tomorrow because I may have broken it by 4 seconds, but it's not enough. Specifically, if you look at like Old School and the fact that Old School's actual PB, his current event PB is a 103.11, but his actual PB was a 102.35. So 1 second behind the previous world record. So and only 5 seconds behind this current world record. So we've seen him put some great, arguably even better runs out yesterday than Catalyst did, but couldn't quite finish them off. And sometimes clutches is an important factor in runs like these, as we saw at the end of the record there for Catalyst as well.
I mean, we've seen so many points in the event where like how 5 seconds are so easily lost. So easily. And with better fights, more than 5 can even be gained. So Old School, very easy to maybe even catch up with that any given time with a good run.
Yeah, that said, we are coming up to the hour. So our runners will have 12 hours from 1 p.m. CET until 1 a.m. CET to put in their runs. When we hit that 1 a.m. time in Europe, that's the lockout point. The last run has to be started before that hour is met. And if a run dies after 1 a.m., even if it's 1:01 a.m., that's it. You're done. So you have to either make that decision to, gamble and say, you know what, this run isn't good enough. Let's, cancel it and do one more with the hope that it could be good enough in future. Or they'll just have to take what they get. So I think we should probably have a look at the game feed as it has. We have a few runners jumping. We've got 3 runners currently active. I do want to grab one of our community casters joining us here in the morning. Because Argic and Ash, you guys are going to be taking the first couple of hours. I'm just here to welcome everyone in, and I'll be back a bit later to do some proper hosting in a bit. So I'll introduce our first community caster of the morning, Kermit. I forgot to make sure Kermit was ready again. Sorry, I did that to Ash earlier in the weekend, but you know what? I'm just kind of doing my thing. Good morning, Kermit. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Not too bad at all. Ready for some competitive runs.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us. The stage is set for the final day. I hope you guys have a great morning cast. I will be jumping out, and I'll leave you guys to it to smash this opening morning. Good luck and have fun, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And indeed,
We-
we'll...
Go ahead. No, go.
Jinx, touch me. Good start. There we go.
I was about to say we actually have also another Speedsouls community caster join us as well. Captain just joined the call along with Kermit, who's going to be commentating over these runs as we start the day. Argik, back to you.
We are about to get ready. We are going to count our runners in here from 10. So we are going through. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. And now we have day 3 underway, and we are going to see all our runners here currently going to try and set themselves a new record, be it a PB or a new world record. We do currently have 4 of our runners running right now. We will be getting Gentov, Catalyst, and Nax coming in later on. Because this is day 3, we are not doing no resets. These runners can just get diving straight in. They can do as many attempts as they need in this 12-hour period. Probably going to be seeing Iron Boy here for most of the day. Has been for day 1 and 2 as well. But we'll see if any of the other runners are going to follow suit.
It's interesting that this is not a race style, but to see everyone just start off at the same point. It's kind of cool.
It's like a head-to-head, sort of.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's that head-to-head feeling where we'll see all these runners right now. Obviously, at the start of the run, we'll see how far they get. We don't want any early quit-outs. We do want to see these runners past the Undead Berg, past Taurus, and, of course, Gargoyles as well. Good old Hollow Room. We'll have to keep an eye out. Like, there are a number of points where runs can just suddenly end. Main one being Ornstein and Smough. We want to see all these runners, if possible, get past them this morning. A nice little interesting stat that I like to look at, and it can only really happen when you're doing a no reset and it's the first run of the morning, is who's going to get the furthest first? Like, obviously, finishing is what we're aiming for, but who's going to make it furthest? Yesterday, I believe it was actually Iron Boy who was the first one to get through the first gate, so to speak, and then take a run to completion. We'll see if he's going to be able to do that again.
He has been incredibly consistent over the whole. Like he's. I think we were saying yesterday he has had the most completed runs out of everyone so far.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he, continues that trend.
Well, that's what we're going to be looking for here. We're going to be looking for these runners to try and do as much as they can today. But just coming through, having a look right now, obviously we've got Dan Flesh up on the screen at the moment, coming out of the Asylum. And right behind him, Old School, and then Mintius and Iron Boy as well. It's like they're all neck and neck at this point. It's really good stuff when you just look at it like that. And we'll see how long this sync can continue. Because, like we've seen what happens when you put a no reset in front of these runners and you just see them having to deal with the RNG that comes through. Like you saw that with Gentov's original 139 run. That he couldn't reset through. It's like 139. It's like, why did he qualify with that? It's like, that's just the nature of a no reset. Like when this game goes wrong, there's a lot of time loss happening there. So it's like, do you want to explain some of these early time losses that can come in?
Cap, you want to take that one? If he's here.
Might be having some technical difficulties or internet
good
issues.
old Discord microphone.
That's all right.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
there we
I think
go.
he
Right
could
on
hear
cue.
us.
Well, Kermit, then, how about you take it?
Oof. Well, I don't know, but early time loss, there's just, well, where Dan is right now, these dogs can be one huge time loss and just one giant cause of resets. Actually, no, I want to quickly say that this is where we can see, like, the runs, the route sort of divert, where Iron Boy is actually, like, taking an alternate route to get to the lower undead berg. Everyone else is going from these stairs up the top, he's going from next to the Firebomb Hollow. But yeah, like, there's a lot of lost time you can get here just from, the RNG of the dogs, basically. How far they want to chase you, how close they can get at the door. Then we're coming up on the the 3 hollows right outside the pine resin room. That those guys can, you know, sometimes either time loss or just entirely kill a run.
And we're about to see
Which we saw, I
Dan
think,
get
a
to it
couple
right
times.
now. Ooh, we just saw our first death to hollows with Olsku. They're very
Yeah.
unpredictable in the remastered. I would say in the remastered, enemies aggro a lot faster than they do in the previous version of the game, Prepare to Die. And we just saw how ruthless they can be.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive enemies, and it's completely normal to reset that early on. Like, you know, you have Hollow's natures, the dogs that we just saw, like, you know, trying to kill that undead merchant, perform that lower dead berg skip, and even like Taurus can sometimes be like not the smoothest fights. Hellkite can prove a little bit difficult with the fire and like the RNG that we get, and then Gargoyles, I would say, is very big possible time loss depending on how Gargoyles plays out. And the kind of like behavior he has in that fight.
Dan just absolutely breezing through the Taurus fight though.
Decimated Taurus. We also got Iron Boy and Mintius coming up at Taurus at about the same time. Let's see who takes Taurus down first. Ooh, it looks like it might be Mintius. Yeah.
By about a couple seconds.
Yeah, very close. Let's get back in Asylum again, trying to get a run going. Let's see if Dan gets past the Hellkite, because this is a big stopper. And he manages to get past it perfectly. No stagger, no nothing. Doesn't get hit by the fire. Just keeps on going. This is a great start for Dan.
He's got the hollow room coming up now, so this is like the next bit of time loss where he could get.
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's a spell in this game that the runners will be using, since it is a magic route, and this is all bosses, called Hidden Body, which is meant to like reduce the aggro range of enemies and detect you a little bit later than usual. But it's interesting how remastered, how fast enemies will react to you. Even before you like have a chance to step into the room. And that's why in this hollow room, sometimes we'll see not just 1, 2, 3, but like all the enemies on top of you and absolutely annihilating you. So let's hope Dan gets through this. Ooh, see, 2 of them. Very aggressive, but the third one gets right out of the way. Ooh, the one by the stairs being a little bit aggressive, clipping Dan there, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, it was almost too good. So something had to go wrong there. Let's see if we can get this nice early bomb strat on the Gargoyles.
Yeah, so the strat works by tossing a firebomb just before the cutscene triggers. And you want the firebomb to land exactly on the Gargoyle's tail to cut it. If that happens, yeah, he got the cut. Yeah. Gargoyle would do this weird thing where he just spins right around. It's very bizarre, but when he spins right around, it gives us a good chance to just sort of take down Gargoyle. That was a perfect fight. It went really well. I wouldn't say perfect, but it went very well. He behaved well. Dan got a lot of free hits, except that second Gargoyle that hopped away there for a second. It's marginal time loss, but didn't give him the smoothest fight he wanted, but still pretty great.
You can't win them all, but that was one of the best I think I feel I've seen over the weekend.
Also, Mintius making it to
such
Taurus,
a nice strat.
To Gargoyle.
He's really not far behind.
Yeah, but he didn't do the firebomb strat, which is interesting. So
yeah.
he still got the tail cut. Not like it doesn't exactly work as intended when it comes from the cutscene, because he's meant to turn around, and that's the whole like essence of the fight. But he's pulling it off. Iron Boy unfortunately getting a reset as well early on. Ooh, 2 hops from Gargoyles. You'll see this a lot in this route, but enemies hopping away, not optimal. The only ones that you generally want to hop away is when you're doing something like Ornstein and Smough, and Smough is the one doing the hopping away while you're finishing up Ornstein.
Yeah.
But very little instances where like an enemy pulling away from you is a good thing.
Yeah, it's never a good thing when Ornstein's hopping around. Especially in this route with magic, you know, in Prepare to Die or just melee routes, it's much more manageable, but you know, the spells trying to track a hopping Ornstein is just painful.
Yeah, it gets messy really fast. Hopefully we won't have to see that. Dan and Mintius, both in the Valley of Drakes, very essential place to be right now because they're making their way to pick up a very crucial item to the run, the red tier stone ring, which is going to amplify their damage by 50% once they get to a threshold of below 20%. So you're going to see these runners throughout their entirety of run, except on some exceptions where it doesn't really matter, like maybe Iron Golem, where they will be below 20% HP, setting up their HP in many different ways so that they can fight the bosses and get that damage boost that they need for those magic spells. And that just means there's more certainty of death if something goes wrong in these fights, and anything can go wrong. It's a very high reward for very high risk.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah, Dan managed to pick up the ring and then just get out and talk to the NPC that we just freed with the Grig's dialogue skip, or PewDiePie skip as some people know it. Picking up those first few spells and items that he needs to start his run.
Old Screw made it past Taurus Demon as well. He's coming up on the Hellkite now. Will he be able to make it past?
Well, let's see. There's like different RNG that Hellkite can give. Okay, it just got a bit staggered, but completely cleanly out of it. I think if
and he
anyone
made it
was
past
here,
the hollows from earlier.
yeah, if anyone was here throughout the course of Break the Record Live, we've seen multiple deaths to Hellkite Drake there, and even just back to back. I think Catalyst at some point had like 3 to 4 runs back to back died to Hellkite. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely is. The Hellkite's been really bad, I feel, for everyone this weekend. Actually, I think Dan's probably had like the best luck, I feel, actually, with the Hellkite. He seems to have made it through like most times with no problem.
Yeah, but Dan unfortunately hasn't got any runs going as far,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge. So he didn't have like the best day. Like in the entirety of the event, he's only completed 2 runs out of 43 attempts.
Yeah.
Right now, he's actually on a fantastic pace, 6 seconds behind his PB. He's currently doing Sen's Gate skip. It's a death cam skip where he enters a death cam state to basically walk through Sen's fortress without having to manually open it. Generally, you have to ring the 2 bells of awakening to do that, but with this nice death cam state, assets don't load or deload, so he can just walk right on through. So that's why you don't see his character. That's why you see an overhead cam. He's just going to be entering Sen's very early on in the run.
Hello?
Hello,
Hello.
Cap.
Oh.
Hey, my microphone is working.
Fantastic. So good to hear you.
Sorry, I don't know why that happened. I had to like unplug everything and just shut it down, probably like a Windows meme.
The really good Windows meme from Arctic last night.
Yeah.
Where his
Oh.
mic just...
Yep. I'm sitting here casually just talking away, and suddenly Mr. Robot comes out at about 900 decibels. You're like, what is going on here? same answer to Capitan there. Just turn it off and on again. That was unfortunate. Hopefully, it will not happen today. We're not going to have that going on again. And we've seen Mintius there also doing the death cam, heading towards
Ooh.
Sen's fortress. Just
Our
going to
boy
skip
almost
that
dying.
gate.
Nice, he pulls it off well. I think he's been practicing this quite a bit, and even during the event, Dan, just trying to do the wall break here behind the snake. It's not easy, because you have to land on like one unstable ground on the cage, land onto another unstable ground just in front of the wall, and then hopefully manage to pull that off, quit out, and the wall should break.
Dan shaking his head there. I think he missed like a tiny bit of dialogue with Logan there. I had to turn round and talk to him again. I don't think it will really matter his time lost, but he shook his head regardless. He didn't look too happy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're heading up towards Sen's now. Like, Dan's got past the hard part of Sen's. It is that gate smash, try to get that wall down there. We're going to see him run up towards now. Hopefully, Bob is nice. I didn't know you named one of the enemies up here.
Yeah, very notorious.
It's actually the true boss of Sen's Fortress. It's Bob. It's more difficult to get past than Iron Golem.
Yeah, Bob generally has very good work days. He's very avid about killing runs, especially when you're in red tier, like RTSR setup. But luckily in this case, Iron Golem doesn't require you to be set up at that HP range. So he's just more of an annoyance than anything. He just doesn't get out of the way. He's just door Bob.
A really important thing about this game as well, like that we've been learning from these runners going through. There are some enemies in this game that will just get in your way. Like they're not going to kill you. They're just going to get in your way and stop your progress. Because like you've got these narrow passageways, right? And their hitboxes, it's like you can't just walk past them. You can't just walk through them. You've got to deal with it in some way. And like, what are some of the ways that these runners can deal with these enemies? Like Doorbob, if he blocks you, what's the way that they can handle this?
Well, usually you just punch people away. That's not many solutions. Like we had with the snakes in the stairs in Sense as well. He's just blocking the way.
Just punched him away, like backhand.
Doorbob. There we go. Just a nice little punch that just out the way and then through the wall into Iron Golem.
I actually saw Mintius fail his wall break earlier. He just relied on the attacks from the lizard boy to break the wall for him. So I think he lost a few seconds there.
I have to say I'm really jealous of this route for Iron Golem because it's so smooth. You just have one cast of 400 damage below Iron Golem's knee, which staggers him, and if you have him in the right place, right angle towards the edge of the bridge, another cast will send him right off. And that's Iron Golem.
Yeah, a bit better than Movesaw Drake Sword, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the category I run, but yeah. Every time I see some of these really clean fights, I'm like, oh, if only I could do an Iron Golem like this.
I mean, you still have to like aim properly with the spell. You see sometimes runners miss it, so you know, still a bit of practice to get going, I guess, but it's not too bad.
Dan used his first instance of fall control to do fall control quit out to get down to an Orlando a lot faster than taking the elevator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fall control has like a mechanic where it's supposed to just neglect all falling damage as long as the fall is not lethal. But one of the side effects is that for some reason the game delays the time it takes to apply the actual damage. So if you do a lethal fall like he did, like Dan did here, which was way too high to be survivable, when you hit the floor, you don't actually die instantly because of fall control. The death is slightly delayed. And so you have time to just hit the floor. The game saves your position down there, and then you quit the game before the damage is applied. And then when you respawn at the bottom, well, you're alive.
Yeah, you'll just see this comical like character splat, but still be alive.
Yeah, and hear the character scream and like everything looks like you're about to die, but you don't.
So Mintius and Dan both started, like everyone started at the same time at the beginning of today at 1 p.m. Central European time. Mintius and Dan both have runs going. Iron Boy and Olsku unfortunately have had to do a few resets here and there.
I didn't actually notice that Ols could reset again.
Yeah, I think like he was trying to do send skate skip and something went wrong.
Unfortunate.
But Dan's on a good place right now.
Well. Yeah, you can see Mintius, like just all the time loss we were talking about in the early game where it has affected him.
Mm-hmm.
He's now just a good bit behind Dan, even though nothing major going wrong. Dan with another death cam skip here.
Heading towards the first major wall relay, first major boss wall. I would say, like this is the bosses that have been causing a lot of trouble for these runners here. We got Ornstein and Smough. Do you want to explain what these runners are going to be looking for here just before we get into the fight, and then we'll see what pattern Dan is going to get?
Well, there's three kinds of openings that you can get. When you enter after a cutscene for Ornstein and Smough. You can get Ornstein casually jogging up to you, and he has three different variations that he follows up with. Ornstein dashing towards you, which is the most optimal, and he'll go on you'll see runners go on the left side, and a lightning opening, which is generally not favorable and very bad RNG, and runners will generally quit out at that point. Dan just got the dashing, which is wonderful for him, as long as Smough keeps his distance and these spells don't miss because Ornstein is hopping madly. Oh, do you see that quick lock on to Smough and just correcting it to Ornstein to make sure you don't hit Smough instead?
There have been some jumpy boys.
Yeah, we talked about bosses hopping away. This is one that you do not want hopping away at all.
Okay.
A bit rough, but he did get Ornstein down. Big time losses to be had here when Ornstein misbehaves, but hopefully it's better second phase.
How did that miss? What?
Oh, went right
wow.
over
Janky
Smough's
hitboxes.
shoulder.
Oh,
I don't think I've
first
seen
one
that
through
before
his
at this
head.
event.
Yes, you'll see a lot of runners free aim when they fight Smough behind a pillar, because if you lock on the remaster, you might have, you might be unlucky and get spells to hit the pillar instead. So very often they just free aim, but that can be a bit difficult, and sometimes, as you just see, you miss.
I'm gonna pull up Mintius's run right now because he's at ONS as well to see how he does compared to Dan. But Dan definitely lost quite a bit of time there. Not the pace that he wants to be on.
It seems like Mintius isn't getting more luck than Dan.
Yeah. Oh. Hitting Smough instead. And another accidental hit on Smough, locked onto the wrong boss. It's rough when you have to deal with two enemies. And Smough is not giving Mintius any breathing room at all. It's like sometimes they can just get like clumped up together and you just have to wait and try and like manipulate them in a way where they separate from each other, using the pillars to your advantage, but...
Oh no.
Ooh. It's rough. This fight is rough. If it doesn't kill you, it's very likely you'll lose a lot of time in here, which for some runners is enough of a time loss that they might not want to continue the run after that point, or hard to salvage.
Well, speaking of the time loss, Dan there, when he finally split, is now plus 11, so did lose about 17 seconds in that fight overall.
Sounds about right.
Oh, nice pillar floating in the air. Hopefully it's just the visual debris that shouldn't have a hitbox.
Mintius has been really unlucky with those spells just veering off to the right. Like, he's free casting to try and hit through the pillar, as you explained. But for some reason, and it's only on Mintius that I've seen this, is that those arrows just casually, it's like, looks like they're on target, and suddenly they veer off, and then that's it. But a good recovery there from him.
Well, the thing is with Mintius is that his event time is 1:11:25, so he can keep going with this run, and he might still, you know, get an event PB.
That's what we want to see. We want to see these runners pull these times down. Again, personal thing that I want to see, both Mintius and Gentov getting down into that 109 range, 108 range. If Mintius could get even down to like that 106, 105, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but at least he has a run going at the beginning of the day, so plenty more opportunities to get some more runs in if this one doesn't get him the time that he wants.
He's got time save later on in the run as well. Compared to his PB, he's got a lot of time to save in the DLC.
Well, now that we've seen these runners pass through the first quote-unquote wall at the moment, we're going to go and take a quick 3-minute ad break here. We are going to get ourselves out. When we come back, Iron Boy may just be about entering that fight, so hopefully we'll see if it goes well for Iron Boy. Go grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, because we will be right back after these ad breaks.